Hey there! Turn on your speakers. Do you have finals week coming up? Projects due? Homeworks are piling up? Are you freaking out that you're getting boxed in with deadlines? Here's an idea. Get help. Think Geek Exams. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, or YouTube.
So in the previous video we covered problem D, and it went from 1 to 9. We are going to cover problem D part 10 now, and the reason we created a separate video for this is because it's interesting. This video will cover maps in R, and we had already downloaded the economic data over here in this link over here, and we have to use that data to basically create a heat map for different states for the mobility and the standard errors using ggmap and ggplot2, and the data has to be divided by different states, and an example is shown over here. We're going to try to replicate this map over here. Now let's get started. I took the whole screen because this one's kind of complicated. Let's first import the data. So I already, because the code is complicated, I pre-wrote all the loaded all the commands here, and I'm gonna just use arrow keys. So here we just import the economic.csv using the read.csv into economic as a vector. We need the standard error function, standard error.prop function. It was predefined in the earlier video, so I'm not going to go through it. Next, we need to basically load up the SEP field using standard error.prop. Using from the data from economic, and this is the command to do that. Economic now looks like this, and it's got the SEP and the population and the mobility data over here. We're not going to use the population, we're going to use the SEP and the mobility. The state data is over here. They're abbreviated state names, but there is a problem here with the states. It's got 51 states, and the reason for that is they included DC. So we have to make sure we do the same thing. So the way we would do that is, we are going to create a new data frame called state data frame, and it's going to have the abbreviated values, and we added DC here for the abbreviated values. And we get the state name, and we do the same thing with that. We use the predefined variable state.name here, and added the District of Columbia to that vector. For the abbreviated values, we use state.ab and added DC to that. Well, our ggmap uses lowercase states, so I need to basically lowercase the state vector over here. So I use that the field name state underscore lower, and we do the lowercasing, use the toLower function on the previous vector that we had over here. It's the same vector. And then I put placeholders for the standard errors of proportions going from 1 to 51 because there are 51 rows. And then mobility is going to have placeholder 1 to 51 because there are 51 rows. Once I created this data frame, I basically have to populate the SEP and the population. The way I do that is going through each row of this frame. Let me explain what's happening here. So this is the index for each row in the state data frame. So first thing we do is get the abbreviated state name from the row and the state abbreviation of this data frame. So it's basically getting a two-letter state name from here. So if the if ST equals to 1, this is going to be Alabama, or Arkansas actually, Arkansas, and then it's basically going to do this economic subset thing. So it's going to take the whole economic data frame, and it's going to look for Arkansas in there. State equals to Arkansas for state ID equals to 1. It's going to look for Arkansas in there. So AK is going to look for that, and it's going to create a subset, and it's going to put that subset data frame into economic subset. So all the information regarding Arkansas is going to be in this loop, in this variable. So then we use mean to get the mobility for all the Arkansas mobility values, and we put that in this variable. We do the same thing as SCP. We store the mean SCP here, and then finally we basically take our placeholder and replace that with the mean mobility and mean SCP values. Let's run this code and let's look at state data frame, and it's got the SCP and the mobility values here. These are the lowercase states. These are the states without the lowercase, and these are the state abbreviations. So we have DC over here. So then there are 51 rows. So everything looks correct so far. Now, and there are no NA values here, so they all look good. So now we are ready to do the state mapping. So to do the state mapping, we need the state data. So we get the state data from map data function, and once we do that, the state data is so this is for mapping purposes. This is already stored here. Now we go to ggplot and start pulling our plots. So this is the ggplot command. We use the state data frame, and for map ID we use the lowercase state name, this one right here, this column, and then we fill it up with mobility, which is this column right here, and then we use the states map to draw the state, and we do a heat map going from blue to red, and intermediates are green and yellow, and we have the longitudes and latitudes in the X and Y coordinates. So if we run that, it loads the map into a variable. So if we plot this, that should pull up our map, and that's what the map looks like. It looks like South Dakota or North Dakota is doing well there, and then that was the mobility map, and this is the standard errors map, and we can see that over here. So that ends this video. If you want to look at the map again, these are the two maps. Thank you very much. See you next time.
Think Geek Exams. Our agents have Masters of Engineering degrees from MIT, Stanford, Georgia Tech, Caltech. We give you solutions to mathematics, physics, computing, and engineering. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, or YouTube.